northern New Jersey. High pressure should keep you dry around Hilton Head and Myrtle Beach if you have some golf plans, but the moisture will continue. What's new associated with Erin. Temperatures today, well, gosh, already in the 90s now in Hartford, Greenwich, Stamford, Connecticut. Heat indices above 100 at this hour. Unbelievable heat. The big question is, will it continue all the way into the weekend? Well, it does look like tomorrow is going to be another hot one. All the way through Atlantic City, temperatures in the 90s. We think you should try and stick in the upper 80s around New York City tomorrow, so not quite as oppressive as what we're expecting today. This is where the heat is really going to build. Denver to Concordia and Amarillo, you'll start to feel it through the weekend. Your typical hot, dry weather is expected in the southwest, but not too bad for folks in summer camp in northern New England. I know Lake Winnipesaukee is a favorite spot for kids at this time during the year. Temperatures should be in the 70s there on Sunday, and you'll pretty much hang in the upper 70s all the way through Monday there. Now, it looks like in New York City, Philly, Baltimore, and all the way up the line to Boston, your temperatures will stay in the 80s. If you can just make it through today and part of tomorrow, then things will start to cool down with the passage of a frontal boundary. So hang in there because some relief is going to move through. Thunderstorms. Well, we've colored the eastern half of the nation green mainly because of all the tropical moisture we have. Of course, we have the remnants of Dean being pulled off to the north, and then we have old Erin that will continue to influence the east. So we just keep that chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms over the eastern half of the nation. Philly, we know you'd love some rain. It's been awfully dry. New York City, you have a deficit. Boston, you have a deficit. You could use some of this, and it looks like some of it might pull through by Sunday and Monday as you head out to work next week. But let's not even talk about work. The weekend is right around the corner, and we think it should be a pretty nice one. If you have some plans to do some boating, or if you want to head to the beach, we have a specific outlook for you coming up in a few minutes.
There's a weather that affects you. Watch the local forecast. Coming up next, only on the Weather Channel.
Subaru dealer today.
Visit your nearest Subaru dealer today to experience the beauty of all-wheel drive.
Thanks for joining us. You're just in time for a tropical update. We're going to take a look at the history of Erin. Of course, Erin is now churning over Mississippi with heavy rain and gusty winds. But remember, it moved on shore Wednesday at about 2 o'clock in the early morning hours. It made landfall around Vero Beach, Florida. They had some minimal damage here, fortunately, but then it crossed over the peninsula of Florida, moved back out into the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, and it really got its act together. As it moved here in the warmer waters, the pressure started to drop and the wind started to increase, and it moved on shore, of course, yesterday morning at about 10:30 right around Pensacola Beach. It's been many, many years, more than 60 years, since they've had a direct hit from a hurricane, so it did take some people by surprise, it looks like. We've had at least 4 different storms, of course, this year, all the A, B, C, and D storms, and we look at the track of the storms at this time during the year, and we watch the intertropical convergence zone. A lot of times waves will come off the coast of Africa, or Cape Verde waves, we call them, off very close to the Cape Verde Islands. They'll track off to the west. Sometimes they recurve, but sometimes they make it all the way through the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico. A little bit more comfortable, I guess. Lower humidity, definitely behind that frontal boundary. Locally, again, 5 inches of rain here. That's something we'll have to watch. And we might even see a severe storm or two in southern New England today.
Meteorologists working around the clock kept you informed of its developments and progression with special live reports, watches and warnings, and late-breaking weather information. So when the potential of a tropical storm arises, depend on the professionals at the Weather Channel. And stay tuned so you'll know if there's an immediate threat to you. The Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Well, this, of course, is our Michelin trouble spot for today. We're watching out for flooding here with the remnants of Dean, and then we still have our tropical system swirling here. Let's check in on the latest satellite picture. This, of course, is Erin, the center of circulation now about just north of Jackson, Mississippi, right along I-55. A rough ride today. We've had winds in here to 35 and 40 miles per hour and some strong storms.
Coverage you won't find anywhere else. Watch the next weather scope at the top and bottom of the hour, only on the Weather Channel. For up-to-date information on the weather that affects you, watch the local forecast. Coming up next, only on the Weather
Channel.
We will be looking at the latest radar out of the southeast and how much rain has fallen from Florida into Mississippi. Also some heavy storms near the Twin Cities today. And we will look at your weekend outlook. Let's start with the latest on our tropical low, which was Erin. Of course, yesterday slamming into the Florida Panhandle, its second landfall in Florida. Now...
Right. So he takes Mega Men from GNC. It's a multivitamin formulated just for men, and he's a better man for it.
Mega Men, only at General Nutrition Centers. Here's to your health, America.
For West Coast info to keep you in the know, watch the Pacific Update, only on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to. For up-to-date information on the weather that affects you, watch the local forecast. Coming up next, only on the Weather Channel. Watch international weather, now 42 minutes after every hour, only on the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to. For up-to-date information on the weather that affects you, watch the local forecast. Coming up next, only on the Weather Channel. West Coast information to keep you in the know, watch the Pacific Update, following your local forecast right here, only on the Weather Channel. For up-to-date information on the weather that affects you, watch the local forecast. Coming up next, only on the Weather Channel.
From Ultima to Wonderwear.
And a shower possible in Vienna. Well, stay tuned. We'll take a look at the tropics coming up next. We've got a tropical depression in the Bay of Campeche. We'll tell you all about it next.
Sun, snow, rain, or fog. Know what to expect. Just 95 cents a minute. Dial 1-900-WEATHER and connect.
Something happens when you read the Wall Street Journal every business day. You start seeing opportunities where you never saw them before. See for yourself. Subscribe now to the Wall Street Journal, and you'll see that the Journal keeps you right at the heart of what's going on in business. Who's news, what's news, and how it affects you, with trends, analysis, and information to help sharpen your perspective. No matter who you are or what you do, you'll find insights and inspirations in the Journal. So when you make decisions, you'll see the forest and the trees. Call now for the Wall Street Journal, and you'll get your free guide to planning your financial future. Over 170 pages of facts, figures, and information you need to start planning a secure future right now. Get 10 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just $38 and get the guide free. Call now toll-free. 800-544-5151. That's 800-544-5151.
Of steel. Or maybe it's the fact that they have the highest resale value in the industry.
Oh, hey, I always wanted one of these.
But the truth is, when people are asked what kind of lawn tractor they'd like as a gift,
Happy birthday, Dad.
most say the same thing.
For more information about John Deere lawn and garden equipment, contact your local John Deere dealer.
Well, let's talk about the tropics, and let's get right into it. Let's talk about Tropical Depression number 6, and I'll show you the latest we have on Tropical Depression number 6 as of 10 p.m. If we can go right to the satellite picture, you can see here, as of 10 p.m., the best guess of the center, because it's hard to find, especially when there's no plane in there finding a circulation, but a very weak circulation.
One reason you should try Citracell fiber therapy. I have hundreds. From Colorado, one letter states, I just changed from Metamucil to Citracell. Thank you for such a good product. Citracell is different, like the fact that other powdered bulk fibers contain psyllium, which can cause excess gas. But Citracell's fiber is as effective without producing gas. From Florida, thank you for Citracell. I've been a loyal user for years. Try Citracell. Effective relief without the gas.
Time now to take a look at our boat and beach report. First, the UV index. Well, it's going to range from high to very high across most of the western U.S. and part of the southeastern U.S. A little more lower levels into the northeast. Clouds and rain going to keep the sun behind the clouds, and also a little lower in the Pacific Northwest. Water temperatures in the 70s across most of the lakes, and in the 60s and 70s across the northeastern coast, but heading down to the mid-Atlantic, the temperatures begin to warm back up into the mid-80s, and maybe a little bit of windier conditions in the areas shaded in orange. And down south, water temperatures very comfortable in the 80s, 83 for Panama City, 85 in Tampa. And then down along the southern tip of Florida, you may see winds in the 15 to 25 degree range. But out west, we're looking at 50 for water temperatures, except 67 way down south, and not much to speak of with wind, except one little area right here. Well, stay tuned. More rainy weather coming up next.
Actually, I'm tired, though.
Reduce knocking and pinging. Try new Chevron Supreme with Techron. Chevron, simply smarter.
And now it's time for the Michelin Drivers Report, brought to you by Michelin and your participating Michelin dealers.
Well, here's our travel trouble spot heading into the Ohio Valley in the northeast. We've got numerous flash flood watches in effect from western Pennsylvania to parts of Ohio.
Local forecast only on the Weather Channel. For up-to-date information on the weather that affects you, watch the local forecast. Coming up next, only on the Weather Channel.
Wreaking havoc on weekend festivals like this.
And some rain-cooled air, keeping things a little bit cooler around Ohio. As a matter of fact, the high in Toledo, 80 degrees, probably the warmest for the state. Not any rain there, but as you head just a little further south around Dayton, highs only in the 70s there. So big difference that the rain makes on the temperatures. Heat index still in the danger category. Oklahoma City back down toward Dallas and portions of the eastern seaboard for the day on Sunday.
And Sharon, as we head in toward the week, it looks like we're going to get some relief from the heat in the form of Erin, as one of our forecasters likes to tell us. You spell relief E-R-I-N. E because of the end of the consecutive number of days of 90 degrees or better. R because we definitely need the rain. I because the heat index will be under 100, and N because it'll be, I guess, nice and cloudy. It will be. Time to check out on the radar. Still a lot of activity this evening. Let's show you that. Time to check out on the radar. Still a lot of activity this evening. Let's show you the big picture first. Still a lot of rain in New England, along the Ohio Valley here into the northeast, and strong thunderstorms firing up into the plains this evening. Start you off in New England, where it's still a little showery.
Put some old...
Days after making